dealing with your own problems? How's that been going for you? Huh? Huh? Listen, it's not because I'm great. I'm trying to teach you something. Okay? That anytime you have the opportunity to sit with a leader, especially if it's an appointment that you have, you should have questions. You should have 5 questions, 6 questions lined up. You ever watch if you're on YouTube or anything like that, I don't know what y'all listen to, because all I listen to, all that I got plugged in is leaders, thought leaders, philosophers, growth instructors, entrepreneurial leaders, money, people of money, marketing, podcasts, people that do research and development. Okay? These are the people that change the world. Okay? These are the people that live ahead of the curve. These are the Steve Jobs, the Bill Gates, the even a Lee Iacocca, a Jordan Peterson, an Andrew Tate, even. If you don't, Alex Hormozy, Gary Vee, Joe Rogan, Thomas Sorrell, John Maxwell, Dave Ramsey. The list goes on and on and on and on and on. But all of them, every single one of them. And if you even know what the trend is today, do you know what all those people, they all have like their own show now, right? Almost every single one of them has their own podcast, their video cast, they do little segments, right? Do you know what all of them to a 100% do? They have somebody else in the room with them. And do you know what they do? Bingo, they ask questions. So you can be like these thought leaders, but I can tell you, all of these thought leaders, all of these movers and shakers and people that are changing the world, do you know what they do? They get someone else in the room with them and go, hey, let me ask you some questions. And then they film it. Your silence is killing you. Write that down. Your silence is killing you. And can I tell you what your silence is? You want to know what is behind your silence? Your pride. I don't want anybody to think I don't know. I don't want anybody to know what I'm thinking about. That would be too vulnerable. What my questions are about, what I'm struggling about. Because yes, to a sense, a question is admitting you don't know. Can you get over your pride enough to admit you don't know? Can you be vulnerable enough to act like and show that you want to grow and you want to develop and you're not happy, maybe happy's not even the right word, but you're not there yet, stop acting like you have it all together. Don't be afraid to act like you don't have it all together. Everybody knows you don't have it all together, and I'm not saying that particularly to anybody in this room. I don't have it all together. I'm not good at it yet. You need to write that down. I'm not good at it yet. You could be, if you've never played piano, you could play piano. You could do it. All it requires is time, effort, and learning something you don't know yet. You can do anything. You're just not good at it yet. My whole point of that is we're all in the same boat. So I don't know what are you shy about here? There's nobody in the world that's good at everything. Nobody. Steve Jobs did not build Apple by himself. The owner, leader, CEO of Starbucks. He didn't get to where he got to on his own. Let me tell you a story about him.
Howard Schultz.
Howard Schultz. So Howard Schultz was back in the day, he had like 5, and I'm going to get the story wrong, details, but you'll understand. When he started, he had he had gotten 5 small coffee shops on the West Coast, I believe California. And there was another coffee company. This was like I believe in the early 80s, or maybe mid 80s, early 90s. And there was another there was another group owner that had Pete's Coffee, and they had about maybe the same amount, 5 to 12 different coffee shops as well. And it was a thing where the owner of Pete's was like, you know what, I want to sell, and so Howard Schultz had the opportunity to buy this other group of coffee shops out and then have 20, 30 coffee shops all there on the West Coast. So it was very small. Starbucks was very small. Smaller than other chains. They only had a handful. And Howard Schultz was a younger man then, and he used to play basketball to stay fit and everything, and would go to the gym, and there was a group of guys that he would play basketball with. One was a young lawyer, and anyways, in the course of this deal, Howard Schultz approached this guy with money because he needed to borrow money to buy these other coffee shops. And he had all the numbers, he had it all down, it was a great deal. He just needed the capital. So he went to some investors. He went to like 2 or 3 investors. And the one he had done business with before, and it had loaned money, and so that guy was kind of privy to knowing the coffee shop industry and what was happening. Again, you got to remember, this was before the explosion of coffee shops all over the place, right? This was just the start of the coffee shop experience. And but he went to this one investor, and the investor was like, showed interest, and he got all the information, and then he went and he talked to the owner of Pete's himself and tried to do the deal. Basically tried to steal the deal from Howard Schultz. And just like, I'll buy your coffee shops and everything just myself. And I actually offered him a little bit better deal. And I'm the one with the money, so I can do it. Well, Howard Schultz was like in the locker room after one basketball game, and he was just talking to his young lawyer friend, going, man, I can't believe this guy did that, he's doing this to me and everything. I thought he had more integrity than that. I never would have went to him if I would have known he was just going to snake the deal out from underneath me and everything like that. And this young lawyer said, I know Mr. Gates, not Bill Gates. Bill Gates was still working in his garage at the time, trying to design a computer and software. But Bill Gates' dad was a really big name as a California lawyer, probably one of the top lawyers, top law firm, like carried a lot of weight in the city. He was he said, let me talk to Bill Gates Sr. and I'll get you an appointment with them, and you just tell him what you told me. And this is just friend to friend, and so he gets the appointment with Bill Gates Sr. Howard Schultz does, and he's like, asked him like 5 questions. When was the date of the deal? When did you approach him? How much was this for? Asked him 5 questions, and it didn't seem like he was like, all right, don't worry about it. And he said it was just one. He walked across the street because this other guy's office building, the man with the money, was close by, and because all the people of power are usually in the same places, and he goes and he has a meeting with this guy, and basically said very few words, and it was just like, brings up Howard Schultz's name, says about the deal, and he just says, stop it. Essentially, stop it. And left. And it stopped it. And Howard Schultz ends up buying all these other things, gets the money. That might have been Bill Gates Sr. or somebody who then gave him the money to do the deal, and now we have Starbucks. My point is that no matter how good you are, or no matter what you find yourself in life, you know, we're not where we want to be yet. And it's going to require you to be vulnerable and set aside your pride and ask questions of people who are greater than yourself. And you know what? Great people love the biggest thing that a Bill Gates Sr. or these people like that, any of them, I could say Glenn Youngkin, you could name any name of any leader. What they love and what their true gift is they recognize potential. You write this down. They are great leaders recognize potential. There's not a single person who is a good leader or a great leader. The only reason why they're a good leader or a great leader is they see potential. And when they see potential, they invest. They are quick and willing to invest. Your quietness is killing you because it does not allow me to see potential. If you ask questions, a leader will take that as a sign of this person has potential. This person wants to grow. This person wants to learn. Let me invest in them. I'm just telling you, it is the greatest. It is the great. You want to succeed. You want to grow. You want to even increase in your finances by leaps and bounds. Please get used to asking questions. Because what's going to happen, you're going to ask the question of a thought leader, a community leader, a businessman, a pastor, somebody, and they're going to take that as a spark of potential. And they can't help themselves but invest. Why? Because that's what they do. We live our life to invest. But I can only invest in when I see potential. Almost every leader will stop what they're doing to invest, even if it's just an answer to a question. Why? Because they know that's how they got there. They know that's how they got there. That they one day they asked a question, one day they let their guard down enough and said, please help, and boom, they got the help. And in most cases, I could, that was just one story. I could tell you story after story after story after story after story after story of people who have achieved because there's a saying that says, if I've done more or I've seen farther than other people, it's because I stand on the shoulders of people greater than myself. But I don't know, maybe y'all are too embarrassed to stand on the shoulder of someone else. And just stay right here. But when you know that that's how you get to see farther, do more, achieve more, is that you know that I have to do this. I have to stand on the shoulder of greater men than myself. You also will recognize, there's another saying that says, and I see this in my children's life, but I have many children that did not come through the womb of my wife. But the intention of any father, any coach, any pastor, guide, shepherd, mentor, whatever, is that your students, your children, your apprentices, your partners, that my ceiling is their floor. This is a ceiling above me, but it's a floor to someone else. And that someone else is in a higher place than me. I created a ceiling, and it'll be someone else's floor. But you gotta recognize these things. Y'all, listen, if you just stay in survival mode, you know what's gonna happen? You'll survive. You won't thrive. You won't expand. You won't have abundant life, but you will survive. Because the thought processes of survival is keep as many people out as you can. Get as much for yourself as you can and limit the access. That's survival. And it's 100% fear-based motivation. You will never thrive. Abundant life comes when you open up and you gather in. Not stuff for yourself, people. When you get people, the more close relationships you have, the more dependency that other people depend on you and you depend on other people, you will thrive. Because other people, see, when you begin to put other people's interests above yourself, guess what you're going to do? You're going to find a whole other group of people that are willing to do the same. They will put your interests above theirs. It's called help. You'll find help. And there's help, always help above you, and there's always help below you. There's always help above you. And there's always help below you. There's people below you that will help you. And there's people above you that will help you. And you're supposed to help the people above you, and you're supposed to help the people below you. And see, you get in this symbiotic relationship, you get in these relationships because now if everybody has people below them and people above them, and you're in a group and a mindset where the people below help and the people above help, then those people below also have people above them, which you're one of them, because they're coming up, they're still learning, but guess what? You're pouring into them, so they're helping you. And then they understand this relationship, and they have people below them, and they're pouring into them, and those people are helping them. And this is how you thrive. You thrive. And only in that situation, too, do you ever find your purpose. Because your purpose, you weren't created for yourself. And you weren't created for God. Can I just tell you this? You weren't created for God. Not as far as purpose goes. God already had angels to worship Him, creatures, living beings. Your purpose does have an earthly manifestation to it, and it has to be in the image of God, to be a creator, a figure of authority, a leader, and one who gives of themselves, because that's what God did. He poured Himself, He breathed into Adam and Eve. And then Adam and Eve were to pour themselves into their children and into the population and into the community. And create for the community and build for the community and family and you understand? That's why you were created, and that's your purpose. So you'll never find your purpose outside of serving others. You will be unfulfilled in the area of purpose until you start serving others, contributing to the greater good of someone else's welfare. Listen, when you understand all this, then you can just lay aside these thoughts of me. And that's what I said. That's where shyness is pride. We like to tend to think that people that are easily embarrassed or shy or whatever, that they don't, they're humble. And the loudmouth, the talker, is arrogant and prideful. No, the shy person is way more concerned about themselves. Their thoughts are always about themselves. That's why they're shy. What are they going to think? I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want to live. And they have a very small world. Their world is very right around. Their thoughts are about themselves. Their world is very small. I can almost guarantee you that most have probably been hurt or whatever, and so they retreat. Close off. Why are you closed off? What makes you become closed off? being closed off, you don't listen. I'm not saying you're intentionally, but you're not aware. I'm just telling you, you are not aware that you're selfish. You're not aware of that. Because and you're aware now because I just told you, but you're selfish. Well, we've never thought of you as selfish. You've just been shy. No, you're selfish because you're not sharing yourself with others. You're not thinking that, you know what, I should contribute myself, my personality, my thoughts, and I should be involved in this whole sharing thing that's going on. But the only way to do that is to get over your fears of being heard or being thought wrongly of, and offer yourself. Yeah, but I have this wart. I have this bunion. I have this whatever, and I don't want anybody to see. Guess what? Everybody that's sharing does. See, but you've allowed it to stop you, and you've turned your thoughts inward instead of outward. That's a tough piece, because I know a lot of wonderful people who are shy. But in order to thrive, you have to begin to tear down some walls. Come out of a little shelter that you built for yourself. Step out into the light, join the party, contribute. Don't be afraid to fall on your face in front of people. Dust yourself off, laugh it off. Say, hey, I'm new at this. And that's authentic. And when people see that, when people can see you fail or embarrass yourself and be okay with it, that's authentic. That is the most attractive quality you could ever have. Because we all hate people who put on masks and act like, oh, I didn't mess up. I don't make mistakes. Right? We don't like those people. Well, you don't like those people. Why are you acting like one of those people? Well, I'm not acting like one of those people. No, you just don't attempt. You don't make the attempt so you won't fall or fail in front of somebody, so you won't have to, right? So there's the people that fall and are okay with it and dust themselves off and go, hey man, I'm part of the crowd here. We all do this, right? Like it happens, and you know what? I'm not good at it yet. Man, I'm trying. And then there's the person that falls and is like, I hope no one saw that. No, and acts like they didn't. Acts like no one noticed it and everything, and just acts like what? And we don't like those people because they're fake. But then there's the people that don't even attempt. Because they've already predicted and they already know, like all the other people know, you're going to fall. And so rather than have to put on a mask and admit or not admit or admit that you failed and you stumbled and you fall, you just don't try. Everybody's in one of those three categories. You're failing and you accept it and you're cool with it because you know that it's a part of growth. Or you're failing and you're trying to cover it up. Or you're just not trying. Because you don't want to fail. So which one are you?
I think that's the reason why people like to either skip school or on the world side take days off when it comes to like certain work and stuff. Like for example, if like how you said about being embarrassed, if you had to do PE and run around, you always got that cheerleader or that basketball player that feels they're too popular to do it. So what they'll do, they'll choose to skip that class and go home to play video games.
Yeah.
Or on the job side, if you got tests and stuff to do, you don't want to go through it, so you'll just come only on your paycheck day.
They'll duck the work, yeah, or, yeah, skip the hard stuff. I heard somebody, I posted a quote that said, "Don't call me lucky when I failed more times than you even tried." Don't call me lucky when I failed more times than you've ever tried. And this is all about questions. Because, right, questions are the, will I fail? Will I come out of my shell and make an attempt? You understand that there's no attempt without a question. You're never going to attempt something until you question it. You had to have the question in your mind. You had to, can I? Can I do this? You understand? Every attempt at anything starts with a question. And therefore, if you don't attempt, you'll never succeed. So every success starts with a question. Can I do this? How do you do this? What will happen if I do this? Will somebody help me with this? Who can I get? Who do I know? How hard is it? Do I really need to do this? Will I have a better life on the other side of this? How much money will I make? You understand? Every success starts with a question. So you might want to be thinking of questions, and you might want to be asking questions because they're directly connected to success. Would people buy this if I made it? Is there a niche for this? What's the problem? Could I make money solving the problem? How would I monetize my services? Monetization is how do you take something that you do and figure out a way to get paid for it. And there's all kinds of ways the biggest, and I didn't, when the internet was still new and before TikTok, and it was probably back in the days of MySpace. Remember MySpace? That was before Facebook. It was MySpace. You don't let your kids get on MySpace. Kidnappers are gonna get.
They made rap songs about MySpace.
That was with AOL dial-up. So this was
AOL chat. They had the chat.
yeah. That was a little bit after, Pong and Space Invaders, Atari had the you bounced this dot over the net and you had a barrel over here, or Space Invaders, you had little dashes coming down, and then you had a little gun that was like shaped like the Empire State Building or something, and it shot out little dashes. Anyways, where was I going? Awesome. In my depravity of my childhood, I never had Atari.
You're talking about
I
MySpace.
always wanted it.
You're talking about MySpace.
MySpace. That back then they were saying, you need to figure out a way to, get on the internet and give stuff away for free. And I'm thinking, well, if you create something, why would you give it away for free? Like write a book or whatever and create a group and just give it away for free. Give your advice away for free and give all this stuff away for free. And I'm thinking, free? Well, what's in it for me? I'm going to spend all this time and be giving people stuff for free. I'm going to write books, or I'm going to do, this and just give this advice. I mean, how am I going to get paid? If I tell everybody the secrets of success, or I coach everybody, I'm on the internet and I'm coaching, I'm giving life coaching advice, and I'm giving counseling advice, and I'm into that. What good does that do? I spend a whole lot of time and effort and energy, and I created these proprietary patented formulas and stuff, and they're like, yeah, just go on the internet and give it away. Like, well, how do you monetize? How do I get paid? Mr. Beast understands this. Now this is what all the biggest influencers do. They'll give now it's like, hey, come to our shop, follow us and like us and view us online. We're giving away a Ford GT 500. You can win, just by following us and, subscribing to, our channel. We're giving away a Ford GT 500, which by the way is like a $500,000 car, but make sure that you, sign up and enter whatever. And I'm thinking, wow, giving away some $500,000 car for free. Well, you don't know the backside of it. Mr. Beast is getting probably $1 million, easily $1 million a month, just through advertisers and stuff that YouTube is paying him. And yeah, he's giving briefcases of money away, and he's videotaping it. And he started doing that, and see, when you're short-sighted, you don't understand that my whole point of community, tribe, giving back to others raises your status. Oh, you gotta go check out this guy. You gotta go tune into this guy's video. man, I just downloaded this little book, and man, it helped me. You need to go da 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 da. What social media did was completely elevate word of mouth advertisement, which everybody always knew that in marketing, that it's word of mouth. Before there was the internet, it was, it was if you can get people to come back to your restaurant and have them tell some friends and invite some other of their friends to the restaurant next time they come, because it was just word of mouth was the best way that you could grow and sustain your business. Well, the internet has taken word of mouth to a whole nother level. So now it's free marketing, free advertising, your status rises. Now you just get paid. Mr. Beast, Joe Rogan, all these people, they just get paid for their status. Because they have 40 million followers. Literally, I don't know how many Joe Rogan has. It's up there. Hey Siri, how many followers does Joe Rogan have?
Okay, I found this on the web. For how many followers does Joe Rogan have? Check it out.
20 million. 20 million. That's just as that tune into his podcast. I'm not even subscribed to his podcast. I'm just picking up clips, off of the thing and following him. But just even his long form, which some of his interviews are 2 to 3 hours long. But my point is, hey Siri, how many followers does Mr. Beast have?
On November 17th, 2022, Donaldson achieved the Guinness World Record of most subscribers for an individual male on YouTube with his MrBeast channel at 112 million subscribers. This answer is from Wikipedia.
112 million subscribers.
It's more than 20.
Yeah, and he gives away $1 million. We're doing a little contest. I created this game, and now I'm launching this line of candy bars, and I've got all this stuff. Well, when you have 112 million followers, it's hey, try this product, and people are paying him big money to be on his little clip, that little ad that pops up. He gets paid major bucks for that. That's not Google. They have to share, that Google has to share, YouTube has to share those profits with him. So he's getting paid every which way. And all he did was go online and give stuff away for free, and he's more about fun. But you can help people now for free. I'm just saying, I didn't see it. I was I don't get paid. No, you need to produce something that helps people. When you produce something that helps people, you will get paid. Even if you help people get off drugs, you can get paid. Well, those people don't have no money. Yeah, I know. But there's a way. There's a way. You can earn a living and helping people. The guy who fixes your car, he's helping you get back on the road. And you know what? There's even if he didn't have prices listed and everything like that, you would understand that just by human nature and by a community and a social etiquette, social norms, is you do something for me, I'm obligated to you. Unless you're a total narcissist or a sociopath. And you think the world revolves around you. But most people understand, man, I'd like to help, even if it's like, man, I don't really like that guy. Like, you can be like, no charge, no problem, no fee, I don't want to, whatever, right? And I know a lot of y'all are good about that. Like, helping people, like, no, I don't want nothing in return. But I'm just telling you, in the back of their mind, those people are going to walk away and go, man, she was a really nice person. I'd like to do something nice for her. Before I got into my lawn care business, you might not be able to relate to Bill Gates Sr. and Howard Schultz buying Starbucks and doing billions of dollars of business, but you might be able to relate to this. Back when I was fixing storm doors and cleaning gutters for people in the neighborhood and making a living as a handyman, I wanted to get more into mowing lawns and doing lawn care because that was a weekly income. Once you started it, you kind of got them. You knew, hey, this yard is giving me 40, that yard's giving me 40, this yard's giving me 20, this one's giving me 70, and it's done every week or whatever, so you can fully calculate an income. Where if you're just waiting for the phone to ring on fixing someone's gutter, or fixing a squeak in their step, or whatever, it's kind of iffy work. So, and lawn care, you can scale it, because again, the more yards you just get one more mower, you hire one more helper, and it's a very easily scalable business. And easy to predict your income. So I was like, I want to get into, for a few of the little old ladies I was doing all their little handyman chores for, I also would do their lawns. So I had maybe at the time, 7 lawns that I mowed. But I wanted to do more, and I wanted to kind of get out of all the handyman work and just do lawns. But I was doing a job very similar to a house like this. There was a little old lady, one of my little old ladies, who referred me to another little old lady who had a house here in Petersburg, and in the downstairs, it was the Daughters of the American Revolution. She would use the house for teas and crumpets when the little old ladies met, the Daughters of the American Revolution. And they would meet here, once a month or whenever they had get-togethers, and so the downstairs was left for them to use when they gathered. But she rented the upstairs out to a gentleman who lived in the upstairs. There was an apartment all set up in the upstairs. And I got this call, the gentleman upstairs, the radiators don't seem to be working properly, and they're not getting hot, and winter's coming, and so we're concerned that, he won't have, so I'm like, I'm not a plumber or whatever, but I can come down and look at it. I'm like, I'll take a look at it for you. So I go down, and it's, basically I ended up telling her, listen, your pipes are probably full of corrosion, and there's, water's not making its way up there because your pipes are all rusted and full of corrosion. But I said, I did bleed some of the air out of the line, and and of course the water that came out was rusty and everything like that. So, but I spent about an hour, messing around with all the different radiators and bleeding them and getting them to be, a little bit better, but not really much because she had a much bigger problem. And she was like, well, what do I owe you? And I said, well, again, I look at people like do unto others. I've always done business, but with the golden rule. And I have a soft spot for children and old people. And I looked at this lady like this is my grandma. Like, what would I want a contractor to do if my grandma called in to get something looked at, and then the contractor really didn't do anything, and she was left kind of with the same problem, now you spend an hour, a lot of contractors would be like, well, give me my rate is X, it's $60 for a call out and $50 an hour. It's $110. But I'm thinking of my grandma. I'm looking at this woman and I'm like, this is my grandma. I can't charge my grandma anything. I didn't do nothing. I didn't solve her problem. So I was like, you know what? You don't owe me anything. I said, but do you, ask a question, do you have any lawns, that you want cut? Or I said, just do me a favor. If you know of anybody that needs their lawn cut or whatever, you have my number or whatever, just, refer them to me. I'm trying to get more lawns to cut. Right? And I'm looking at her like, she's this poor little grandma. And so, like, a week later, I get a phone call. Hello, this is Marjorie Peachtree, and I'm over here at Cannon Point, and we are a senior community. We have a senior community, and Mrs. Comstock gave me your name and said that you mowed lawn. We're looking for a new person to cut our lawns. So this is an HOA. This is senior housing. These are well-off seniors that live in nice, big, beautiful homes, and with a guard shack out and brick entrance. And you got to go past the guard to get into these houses and stuff. And but we need somebody to mow all of our lawns. And at the time there was only 20. There were 20 lawns. Well, Mrs. Comstock, the little old lady I helped with her radiator, she sent me $50 in the mail anyways. But that housing development and Conjur's Neck housing development, if you go past Colonial Heights, if you go past the Home Depot and you go all the way to the end, there's this very large, probably the highest real estate in Colonial Heights is back there. And that little old lady who had the radiator problem, all of that land was her farm at one time. And now it's a huge housing development with hundreds and hundreds of $500,000 homes in it. And she started she started another development that was senior housing. 55 and older. And she was the president and owner of that housing development. And so, and I knew nothing about bidding a contract, and my first bid I sent in was like high. It was like twice as much as what they were paying the other guy. But see, I didn't understand, like I was bidding it like it was a single house and you have to pack up your stuff. But this is, once you go in the neighborhood, it's just, you can do it quick, because it's just like one big continuous cut. Anyway, they told me, you're too high. They're not supposed to tell you, because it's supposed to be a private bid. But they told me what I had to bid to win the bid, because they wanted to give me the job. And I got the contract, and then over the course of 3 or 4 years, while I had the contract, went from 20 homes to 52 homes. And they just kept building on these lots. And so that ended up being annually, it was like a $40,000 contract. And I'm just saying, your quietness is killing you. You don't ask questions. I asked the question, do you know of anybody else that needs their lawns mowed? And I opened myself up and I said, I'd like to get into doing more lawn care. And I had a discussion with, even at that time, like I didn't know who she was. I didn't know that she was connected like that. I didn't know that she was a multi-millionaire. You know, that her and her husband, turned their farm into a housing development. Didn't know that. Oh, she also got me, well, the first job she got me was mowing the old 1,700 5 acres, which that was just like, that was $120 every time I cut it. Which, pretty sweet, to sit on your mower and mow. But if you don't ask questions, and you're not vulnerable, you're not willing to contribute to the greater good, right? And it's not always about you, it's about helping others. And people will see that. And like I said, especially big people, they're always looking. They're always looking. Say, how can I help? How can I, it's just it's in us. Because if God has allowed somebody to rise, the people that rise understand the struggle of what it takes to rise. And so it's usually on their heart, just like it's on your heart. Like it's almost on everybody's heart to say, you know what? This is hard. I was at one of my lowest points, in life, and someone reached out and helped me, right? Y'all kind of feel that way, right? And you're like, I want to be one of those people that reach out and is able to reach out and help people, right? It's just, that's kind of in us, And so, guess what? At every level, it's that way. I'm just saying, don't be thinking, oh, these people are on some other kind of level. No. At every level, anybody who has risen, somebody said, you'll never see a turtle on a fence post and not wonder how it got there. Okay? It didn't get there on its own. It didn't get there on its own.
Somebody put it there.
Yeah. And I'm just a turtle on a fence post, man. So, like, you know, you gotta recognize that there's people out there that'll lift you and allow you to rise to places, you know, where you probably shouldn't even be, but they see something in you. They get enjoyment out of seeing you succeed. They take pleasure in that. You gotta recognize that and put yourself out there, alright? One of the easiest ways to put yourself out there is ask questions. Get over the fear of asking questions. Alright? Put yourself out there. Someone just might pick you up and put you on a fence post. And then you'll be a head scratcher. People come by. How do you get there? I'm a head scratcher. I'm telling you. Like I get invited into rooms where everybody's got a PhD or they're something in the community and they're doing something. They're the head of this department and they're the chief of this and the pop whatever, and they've spent 10 years in school getting there, and and I got stories about, well, let me tell you about the time I was cleaning this lady's gutters, and and the next thing you know, I got 2 zero turn radius motors. I mean, wow, what an awesome day. And then one day I was sitting on my zero turn radius motor, and I was supposed to be putting a contract on a house, and then, you know what? Because I was sitting on that mower, mowing that lawn, I missed out on a $30,000 deal because someone else put a bid on the house and they accepted the contract before I could get off my mower to go sign the contract on the house. And it was that day, it was that day I figured out I needed to get off this mower and start my full-time investing in real estate, because I was missing out on money. I was mowing a lawn for $120 and I missed out on $30,000. I mean, that's the kind of rocket scientist you're dealing with. Hello, McFly.
Hello. Hello.
But, turtle on a fence post. Alright. There you go.